Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the art of seduction. So a lot of people need some help in this area. How to get women into bed, basically. Now, this is going to go against a lot of y'all's belief systems. I know it's not, it's a process, okay? So it's not just cut and dry. And you have to be, first and foremost, you have to be confident in yourself, right? And that's what women respond to. And so you're going to be more confident knowing these things, which is going to help you out, right? So let's say you've already got a girl's number, and you're going out with her, right? Let's say you're going out on the date, okay? Your whole goal as a man going out on a date with a woman is not to get in her pants. If your idea is to get in her pants and get laid, you've already failed and the date's going to fail. Your goal as a man should be to just hang out, get to know her, and have fun. The both of you just have a good time. Dating should be fun. I have fun with women when I go out with them. That's why I get laid, because I know if I can get a woman to go out with me, I've got her in the bag, basically, because I know she's attracted to me. It's just, because I know how to build the art of seduction, right? Like, women's attraction's like a volume knob, right? Men's attraction's like an on-off switch. Men, we see a woman, we're beautiful, whoop, we're attracted to them, whoop, you know what I mean? Women's a lot more difficult. Women's attraction is like a volume knob. You have to dial it up. It starts at about a 5 or a 6 if she's interested in you, and then you have to dial it up and get her to, 7, 8, 9 before she's really, really wanting to sleep with you, right? So you got to know how to build that up, and most men are clueless when it comes to this stuff. And I had to learn it the hard way, and I definitely had to learn this. So basically, it's you get a woman out with you, right? And you just want to get to know her, right? I hear from women so often that guys never ask them questions. And that means that you guys are failing at seduction. Because before you can penetrate a woman physically with your thing, you have to penetrate her mentally and emotionally first. This is how women operate naturally. They don't just see men and go, "Oh, he's hot," and they go, "Whoop, let's," if they do that, then they're real shallow and really messed up, internally. But anyways, that's I'm talking about real biological chemical attraction, making a woman wet down there, and wanting to jump your bones, man. Like attraction, like chemical, biological, internal attraction between a man and a woman. How you make a woman feel this stuff, right? So you got to know how to make them wet down there. You have to know how to penetrate them mentally and emotionally. That's part of being a man, is we penetrate women, okay? Women accept us, right? V and a P, right? Point and a chalice, right? Anyways. So how you do that is you ask them questions. You have to lead the interaction. Whoever's asking the questions is leading the conversation, right? And leading the interaction, right? So you as a man, your goal is to get to know her, right? So ask them questions. Ask them questions about stuff. And when they give you answers, repeat some of it back to them so that they feel like you're listening to them, even though you really probably don't give a shit, but you should. Like I do. I care, what they're talking about. But so that they feel like you're paying attention to them. And that's going to be different than most men. Why? Because like I just said, most women tell me all the time that most men never ask them questions. That's why I'm such a breath of fresh air to them, because when I go out with them, I want to know about them genuinely. What are you into? What's this? What's that? I don't even care about traditional or modern or, whether they got kids or not. I'm talking about them as people, like not their background. I'm not trying to do an interview with them, because I'm not looking for anything besides just getting to know people. anybody who has the intention of dating for a commitment in marriage, you're extremely insecure and you have no idea what you're doing. That's a fact. Anyways, men that are good with women, that can have a bunch of relationships with women, we don't need commitment from women because, well, we're not insecure. We know we can get any women. We know we can get more women. So why would we care about commitment, right? We can have babies with a bunch of women. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have a good woman to have a family or to have children. You just have to know how to seduce women to where they want to stay with you. See, this is why women cheat on men, and men can't accept it. Men keep thinking that it's the women's fault, that they're just bad women. They're modern women. They just, they're just horrible people. No, that's a coping mechanism. That is a coping mechanism for your inability as a man to keep them attracted to you. It's your job and your fault if a woman is attracted to you or not, just as it's my fault. That's what we're talking about, the art of seduction, right? And most of you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So anyways, so we're out with women, you know what I mean? Ask them questions, okay? That gets them feeling like, oh man, this guy's different. He's actually paying attention to me. He actually gives a shit what I'm talking about and about who I am as a person, right? So maybe she talks about horses, and ask her about horse stuff. That's going to get her, and then as the evening progresses, y'all are talking, you're vibing, you're getting to know each other. She might be asking you some stuff. If she is, that's a good indication that she's interested in you, right? Because she's asking you questions. See? You see how that works? You're asking her questions because you're interested in her, right? And she's going, oh, this guy's asking me questions. He's interested in me, right? So you should be doing the same thing. You should be discerning the whole interaction. Oh, she's asking me questions. She must be interested in me. And cool, this is cool. We're vibing, right? Like, this is all subtle communication under the communication, right? We're talking, but we're having subtle communication. Like, you guys got to understand this stuff. This is part of the art of seduction, right? So as you're vibing and you're talking and you're getting to know each other, there's this under the surface communication that's going on. And as you continue throughout the evening, you need to slowly start moving closer. I mean, that's the whole goal of dating, is so that you can get closer and closer and closer and closer until, well, you end up inside her, right? Well, how do you do that unless you're not trying to move the interaction along? And gentlemen, you're the man, so you are supposed to be the leader, right? If you are not escalating the situation and escalating it to eventually get inside her, you're not going to get laid, because women aren't just going to come out and just unless you know how to turn her on to the point where she wants to do that. But men might have accidentally done this in the past, but you didn't know what you were doing with it. And so hopefully this is filling in some of y'all's knowledge gaps. But anyways, so again, throughout you've been asking her questions, you've been listening intently, repeating stuff back to her so that she feels like you're listening. Hopefully she's joking and laughing. You need to be teasing her a little bit about the stuff that she says. If she's talking about, how she likes Hello Kitty, then start just teasing her about Hello Kitty, and not in a, there's a balance with this. You don't want to go too far, right? You've got to be kind of, just give her a hard time like an older brother would give their little sister a hard time. Not that she's your little sister. I'm just saying it's just how that context would be, the teasing and the social context of that. And just tease them. Like, for instance, an ex-girlfriend of mine a while ago, she used to, for the word picture, she would pronounce it pitcher. Like, hey, let's take a picture. But every time she would say it, I was like, oh, you want to take a picture? Let's pitcher of water. I'm gonna get you a pitcher of water. I'm teasing her. I'm ribbing her. I was just giving her a hard time, teasing her about her stuff, and she's like, "Damn, stop it!" She'd go, get a little bit irritated. You're getting her emotional, right? Attraction is about giving women emotions, right? So you can't be afraid to piss women off. I love pissing women off because it gets them. I know that they're emotional by me, which means I can get their thing wet down there. Like, it's getting wet, like it's passion, right? opposite of passion and the opposite of attraction is indifference and apathy, right? If she doesn't give a shit about you, right? So you don't want her to not give any shits about you. So her being mad is a form of passion and or attraction, as long as you can flip it around in a good way. And I know that I can. And you all can too if you learn these social skills and how to do this and how to move the interaction the way that you're supposed to be the leader, right? So you need to lead the conversation and lead the interaction where you want it to go. And if you don't know how to do that, this video is for you. Like I said, so you need to be ribbing her, teasing her a little bit, to the point where she like hits you in the arm, shut up, when she's like, shut up, like that's a clear indication. I'm like, man, I got this girl. As soon as they like start calling me like, you're such an asshole, or, like hits me in the arm, anytime they hit me, like playful hitting, I know I've got them in the bag and I can make a move at any point and she will accept my advance to kiss her at least. Now, and that's what I'm talking about. Men, you should, like, if you're waiting for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth date to kiss a woman, you are messing up bad. I've never been rejected for a kiss on a first date. Ever. I have intentionally not kissed women on the first date because I wasn't sure that I was interested in them or not. But anytime that I have wanted to kiss a woman and went in for it, I've always succeeded. Why? Because I know this stuff and I know what I'm doing and I know how to read whether they're ready for it or not. That's what I'm saying. You need to read the interaction and read whether they're responding to you. It's all about how you show up as men, gentlemen. You need to understand and know how to get her emotional and when to advance and when to wait, right? And so a lot of it is just hanging back and just chilling, man. When you're out with them, just hang back and just have a good time. You should be having fun too, guys. This isn't just for her. This is for you too. It should be fun getting to know people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Dating should be fun for people. It's you guys make it so damn hard because everybody's up in their heads about getting what they want out of something. The women are trying to get commitments and the men are trying to get sex. And that's why dating's so hard for everybody, is because you're trying to bypass right to that stuff. And you can't do that. You have to go through this process and the art of seduction and the art of attraction and the art of connecting with each other. Men and women have to do this. This is how human connection works. And the reason why it's missing so much is because of cell phones and technology. Everybody's on their dang phone. Nobody's paying attention to the subtleties and the subtle communication anymore because everybody's just sending a text or sending a tweet or posting on Instagram or whatever it is. Human communication is 92% tone of voice and body language, right? So you guys watching me and women watching me, and the women have picked up on this way more than you guys men have, but that's what I'm trying to bring it to your attention, man, is my body language and tone of voice is saying one thing under the surface. My words, you guys are understanding consciously on a surface level, but you're not paying attention to what's going on under the surface. Women are. That's what I'm saying. You need to understand that. And when you're confident in yourself and your abilities and in the art of seduction and attraction, they're going to know that just by your confidence level and how you show up and how you lead or don't lead. Like, that's why women are complaining that men are, I lost attraction for him and I freaking left him, dumped him, divorced him. Because men don't know how to do this. They don't know. Men, you guys expect, men are so stupid. You expect to just, okay, let me find this good woman and she's going to be loyal to me for the rest of my life. That's not how relationships work, gentlemen. And it's not how relationships work, women. Relationships work by desire. You have to make the other person desire you. And if you don't know how to do that, you are inevitably going to fail with every woman or man you get with. I'm talking to women too, if women are watching this. You have to know how to make the other sex desire you and maintain that desire. And that's what we're talking about, the art of seduction. How you make someone desire you. How do you get a woman wet, right? You talk to them, you make them feel like that you're listening, then you escalate the interaction a little bit more. When I go out with women, I don't just take them to dinner and then go home. I'll never take a woman to just dinner and then go home, or dinner and a movie and go home. Fuck that. No. Should only be reserved for your girlfriend or somebody that you've been seeing for a while, or somebody that you already know. First dates, here's what I do personally. I don't even go out for coffee dates. I like to meet up for a drink first. And so when I have a plan with women when I'm going out with, if I even do like take them out. Most of the time I don't even take them out. Most of the time I just offer for them come over to the house, and or we meet up for lunch or something, just to get the short shit out of the way and kind of build the attraction. But usually the first date is kind of like the let me see what you're about personally on a little bit deeper level. That's why you ask questions to get to know each other, right? But once that's out of the way, usually you can go right into just hooking up, or whatever, if you know how to move this process along faster. But sometimes I do like to actually just go out just for the sake of going out and having a good time with people, right? So anyways, if I'm going to go out, take a woman out, this is what I do. I like to go out for drinks somewhere, and just drinks. Someplace that you can have appetizers if you want, but definitely like just one drink, just in case you don't like her or she doesn't like you, and you both can get out of there, right? But I'm not even a big drinker. I don't like alcohol at all. I don't drink. I only drink socially. I have alcohol here at the house, but I don't touch it unless there's a special occasion going on, or people come over or something. I just don't like the way alcohol makes me feel. I don't need to be numb. I don't need to numb myself or my feelings, because I love myself and I love my life. So I don't need to cope to numb my stuff. But anyways, so I don't like the way alcohol makes me feel because of that. I'm not trying to be numb. I'm trying to feel life, because I believe that we're humans. We should all feel our emotions and honor that. But anyways, so take a woman out for drinks. That way you guys can both split, if things aren't vibing, right? But if they are vibing, then you should have a backup place that you can go to take her out somewhere else from that place. And that gives the illusion that you're going on multiple dates, even though you've only seen her for maybe 45 minutes to an hour this one time. You're now taking the date to another place. So that's actually 2 dates in one, right? And you're showing up to another place with other women which is going to give you social proof, because remember, women are only attracted to men that other women can get. So now you're showing up to a place with another woman with you, and that's going to make you attractive to other women, and they can all pick up on this. And anyways, that's again subtle stuff that's going on that men don't pay attention to, right? So anyways, you take her to, like, you have drinks, and if everything's vibing and you like her and she likes you and she's responding to you, you're something close by where you can walk and or has an activity there. Darts, billiards, play pool, bowling, axe throwing, something where there's an activity, cornhole, where you can get a little bit competitive and still drink a little bit, you know what I mean? Kind of take the edge off, and liquid courage, right? I mean, I don't necessarily need that, but some of you guys might. So it's just fun though. So a lot of the times I like to go bowling or pool. But darts is fun too, but pool or bowling usually. My last actual girlfriend that I committed to back in 2016, I took her bowling. I did this exact thing. I took her out for drinks. We were vibing, had a good time. Like, I was asking her questions, trying to genuinely get to know her. I genuinely wanted to get to know who she was, and I would ask her stuff, and then she would be like, well, what about you? Well, what do you like? And what this and what that? And I was like, dang, and that was different for me. Like, I was like, dang, this woman's actually like wanting to get to know who I am. That's cool, So like I said, we were vibing, man. There's chemistry, right? Like I said, when women like you, they'll ask you questions too, because they're interested. people that are interested ask questions of the other person. So that's how women know if you're really interested in them or not, or you just want to get laid. Like, you have to show them that you're interested in them by asking them questions. That's why I keep reiterating this. Lead the conversation. Lead the conversation. You got to lead it by asking them questions all the time, the whole time. You know, tease them, rib them, give them a hard time about shit. You know, if they say they like cats, oh, so you're another crazy cat lady, ha ha ha. You know, just of course it's joke, you know, but just tease them, give them a hard time until you can find something that they get a little bit emotional about when you tease them. And then you want to kind of dig at it a little bit. And not to be mean, okay? Don't get me wrong here. It's not a mean thing. It's a, you want to get them emotional, right? You want to trigger them emotionally, because when they get emotional, again, that thing gets wet down there, right? And when that gets wet, they're horny, right? Like, so you got to understand that getting them you can't be afraid to piss them off, and you got to be confident enough in yourself to be okay with whatever happens. See, women's power is all in our fear of whatever they're going to take away. So if you're afraid of pissing them off, that they're going to take away their attention from you, or take away their body from you, or take away the V from you, then they have the power, because you're scared. See, you can't care what women are trying to take away from you. And we're seeing it in real time right now. I mean, look at what's going on in society. Women are now they're now like, oh crap, we don't got the power anymore, because men don't care about sex. Men just they don't care about us anymore. What the heck? See how men are taking our power back? When you don't care, you hold the power. And it's not about power or control, it's about the dynamic in the relationship, because power corrupts. I shouldn't say power corrupts, but well, it does. Anyways, I don't mean to get into that, but you have to know how to lead the whole interaction with them, and you got to know how to escalate this stuff. And so, like I said, ask them questions, tease them, rib them, give them a hard time until they can get emotional, until they start hitting you, you know what I mean, like all that stuff. Then you can kind of start, as soon as, if they brush into you or bump into you, or like, I purposefully just like kind of lean into people, like, I was talking about my ex. So I took her bowling, right? I took her out for drinks first. She was asking me questions. I was like, oh, this is awesome. We were vibing. And I was like, hey, let's get out of here and let's go over here, like right down the street. And I took her out bowling. And I knew I was going to do this if things went well, right? So you always want to have like a drinks kind of appetite. I like to start out with drinks because it just breaks the ice, and it gets your nerves, out of the way a little bit, because everybody's a little nervous going out on dates sometimes. I mean, I'm not usually anymore, but when you don't know this stuff, you are a little bit. So the alcohol helps a little bit with the nerves, right? So for some of you, this might be a really good idea. Just go out, have a drink or two, and see how you guys vibe there. Ask her questions, get to know them, tease them, rib them a little bit. And then if y'all are vibing and stuff, like I said, you can go somewhere else. I took her out bowling, right? And we're joking the whole time on the ride there. We get out of the car, and we're walking into the parking lot, and we're both talking about how, oh, this is going to be fun. Like, we were both having a good time, right? You want to have a good time with each other. It's not even about getting in their pants. It's just having a good time, right? Dating should be fun. We're walking in, and she's like, man, I haven't been bowling in so long. And I was like, yeah, me neither. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. We're both like, yeah, we're jacked. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to kick your ass. She said that, right? She's like, yeah, I'm going to kick your ass. And I'm like, really? So I was like, well, you keep talking like that, I'm going to literally kick you in the ass. Like, you see how that's banter, that's teasing, that's playful, it's flirting, there's sub-communication going over under the communication. It's teasing, it's competitive, it's flirty, it's witty, it's you know what I mean? I know a lot of you know this stuff, but it all plays into the art of seduction, and you have to know how and when to use it. And well, you should be using it all the time, actually, because it's just attractive, right? It shows that you have balls, and you Like, you can joke around and you don't take yourself too seriously, you don't take hers too seriously, and you don't take life too seriously. You got to have a good time, man. Life's too short to be freaking anything but anything. It's too short to be serious all the time. You got to have a good time and know, just want to have fun and have fun with women. And that's part of the art of seduction, is having fun with them and getting them to laugh, getting them in their feelings, and having them go from this feeling to that feeling to this feeling to that feeling, all in your interaction with them. And not because you're being a jerk, but just because you just know what the art is, right? So, like I said, we're walking in, and she's like, "I'm gonna kick your ass." I'm like, "Oh, you keep talking like that, I'm really gonna kick you in the butt." You know what I mean? So we go in there, so it's like, all right, it's on now. Like, it's fun. You know what I mean? It's there's some banter, there's some tension now. Sexual tension. Like, there can never be tension unless you get women emotional. That's why you can't be afraid of getting women emotional. Like I said, I think it's hilarious when I piss women off, because I know there's tension there. And I'm like, yeah, I can get her in bed if I really wanted to. Do I want to? Nah. You know what I mean? Like, they don't respond to indifference. Like, if you're boring. That's why women say men are boring. Or why she divorced me because she said I was boring, but I have hobbies and I do this and I do that. It's not because you don't have hobbies, it's because you don't make her feel anything. That's why you're boring, and that's why you don't know, because you don't know how to seduce her, attract her. You accidentally attracted her way back in the day, or she wanted something from you and was manipulating, using you, and she got it, and now you're just a shell and cuck of a man, so she divorced you and is cheating on you. Because a dude like me that knows what the heck they're doing knows how to seduce her and make her feel these things. Because you don't. See what I'm saying? You got to know how this works, right? So anyways, so we go in, we're bowling, right? We're teasing each other, having a good time, competitive. I think she might have beat me one game, or was close anyways. But I think I beat her definitely pretty bad the other two. But anyways, we get done. We had a good time. I kind of started, just as she'd bowl and then I'd go up and bowl, right? And as we'd pass each other, I'd make sure I give her a high five. She did a good job. That's starting to touch, right? You're breaking the physical barrier a little bit, bump into each other, intentionally bump her hip, with your hip, just to, give her a playful competitive nudge, like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Just, you start escalating things physically slowly, not all at once. You don't just go right in for the kiss. You don't just go right in to try to sleep with them. It's a process, slowly, right? And you gotta know how to build it. So anyways, then you start physically just brushing into them, touching their shoulder, putting your hand on the small of their back, just little things to see if she's comfortable with it. If she's not comfortable with it, she's gonna pull away. And you know that it's not the right time to do that, and you need to keep asking questions and building the anticipation and building. You haven't done a good job of building attraction if she's not ready for these things. So that's what I'm trying to say, is you got to know, when she's responding to you funny, laughing at your jokes, and she's having a good time with you, and she's getting closer to you, she's basically saying, hey, it's okay to touch me, basically, but it's not a verbal cue, it's just subtle communication under the surface, right? So you got to know how to read that stuff, and this is part of the art of seduction. And so we get done with bowling, had a good time, had awesome. We go out to the car, right? And she was a smoker at the time, and so before we got in my car, because I didn't like people smoking in my car, she's like, hey, I'm gonna have a cigarette real quick, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. So we're standing there, and I started leaning back against my car, and she's standing in front of me, and we're talking, we're just, again, asking her questions, what's this, what's that, I can't remember how the conversation went, it's been years now, but anyways, I knew that she was ready, the whole time, basically not the whole time, but there, when we started physically, I knew she was ready, basically, that it was cool to go in for the kiss. So what I did again, I was leaning back against my car, and she was kind of like, I don't know, 2 feet from me. just standing there, just right, we're talking and this, that, and the other. And I basically reached out and I grabbed her belt, like just her belt and her belt buckle at her hips, and just gently pulled her right into me and just went in for the kiss. That smooth. That's all that. That's a move. That's smooth move, right? That's But gentlemen, you have to make the first move. You never ask a woman to kiss them. I mean, I think that's weak. I mean, yes, it shows respect, but a lot of the times women want you to know what I just explained. When is the right? They want you to know when the right time is intuitively, and if you don't know how to read and build, if you don't know how to read the interaction and read the how she's feeling and responding to you, and or you don't know how to read and or you don't know how to build the attraction up to that point, or build the anticipation and the seduction up to that point, you're gonna fail. And it's just, and like I said, if you don't know, then you're either accidentally going to do it and you might get some attention or laid, but most of the time guys are going to fail miserably with stuff like this. And unfortunately, I've seen it many times. And I hear it from women all the time. Like, they just, they're like, "Dang, guys are clueless. They don't know what they're doing. They're this or that." Like, but that's why it's so easy for me to turn them on, is because I don't even try. I just sit back like this. I don't even try to get in their pants. Like, I know how to make them emotional. I know how to make them, how to get that thing wet down there to where they want me. And I'm just sitting back the whole time. I'm not desperate for it. Like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta have it." Like, no, like most guys are desperate for that because you don't know how to get it, because you don't know how this process works. And I get it. Like, I used to be there when I was younger, trust me. But you learn these things over the years. Experience is a cruel teacher. It gives you the test and then it gives you the lesson, unfortunately. But the process, I mean, so like I said, I went in for the kiss and we made out that, whatever. Again, I can't remember exactly how everything went, but that was basically the gist of it. And even the whole time we were together and we're talking, she thought that was the smoothest thing that any guy had ever done. Was my first date was her most memorable first date, just because of how much fun she had, and because of how smooth it went and how effortless it was. That's the process of seduction. Right now, we didn't necessarily sleep together that night, but then I don't necessarily want to sleep with a woman right on the first date. It all depends. It depends on the vibe, and it depends on how we're feeling and how much time is involved, where we're at, all those things. Gentlemen, if you're going to get laid, you have to initiate that. They're not going to plan that out. They're not going to make sure that happens unless they're like super, super already in love with you. And by that point, you should have been doing this already. So again, it's your responsibility to when you first meet women and you're first trying to seduce them and get them, when you want to move things along, with new women, this is what you need to do. And so anyways, so you start kissing, and depending on where you're at, then back off, right? You kiss for a little bit and then back off, and then continue the interaction, continue the activity, continue whatever you're doing. I remember I've done this with many girls, that like I'll be out playing pool with somebody or something like that, and I'll just be able to read the interaction. I'll go in and make my move. We'll be kissing for a little bit, making out right there with our pool cues, just going at it, and then 30 seconds later, I'm like, "All right, get off of me. I got to make this shot. You're trying to seduce me, teasing her, right? You're trying to get in my pants." Like, switch it around on them, like they're the ones trying to seduce you. You see what I'm saying? Even though we all know that that's not what's going on. You see what I'm saying? That's the process. Is you're teasing her, you're ribbing her like she's the problem. You're giving her a hard time. That's gonna make her want you even more, and be like, she's gonna feel the anticipation more, because you're not just trying to. They need to anticipate. They need the build up to it. Women love the whole process of the build up to the sleeping with them. Not just, see, men, we just want to get in, get out, get it done. Like, get in, nut, get out, done. Like, But that's not how women operate. They love the process. They need the process in order to be turned on enough to want to let you inside them. That's what I'm trying to say is you have to penetrate their mind and their emotions first before you penetrate them physically. That's the art of seduction. You have to do that. And so, like I said, depending on where you're at, whatever. Like I said, push them away a little bit, then go about your stuff, whatever. Then kiss a little bit more, get a little bit more heavy, then do the same thing, get off me, whatever. Let's go do that, or go somewhere else. Depending on context. If she's like hot and heavy and ready for it, again, you got to read it though. But a lot of the times I like to build the anticipation. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. Like go hot a little bit with her, then back off. Then go hot and then way a little bit hotter and then back off. And then hot, 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 and then back off. And you see what I'm saying? Like you have to, it's a back and forth so that you're escalating things by a step. And so that, because you can't just go right into just taking her pants off and getting inside her. That's not how women operate. They have to be emotionally engaged. And so that's what this is the process of seduction, is emotionally engaging them. And that's what all this buildup is. The anticipation is an emotion, right, for them. Men, we don't need that. We get turned on, our stuff's hard, and we're ready to go. Their thing down there, it has to get wet first. So you have to know how to make it wet. That's what we're talking about. So anyways, eventually you can start doing heavy petting, and to the point where, again, you need to read the situation. If she's ready for you to start groping her and or, sliding your hand, down there or whatever, you'll know it, because she'll be into you, whatever, but you don't want to move too fast. Maybe just graze your arm by her chest, and then, go up and as you're kissing her or whatever, and then stop doing that. And then a little while later, go more. You see what? And then go downstairs, right? And then back off a little bit. And then again, go a little bit further each time. And usually, if you just be patient with that, she'll be hot and heavy, ready for it. She'll want to rip your clothes off and her clothes off, because you've gotten her so hot and bothered that she's ready for you. But you have to dial it up the whole time. That's the whole art of it. And of course it works in different ways, but because women respond emotionally to different things. So what's going to emotionally trigger one woman and get her hot and bothered might not be the same thing as the next woman. And that's why you have to get to know them. That's why you have to take the time to get to know them and be attuned to these things on your dates with them or interactions with them, because this is all very, 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 very important. And you're never going to get laid unless you know this stuff, unless you accidentally do it and or she's trying to manipulate you and get something from you. Absolutely. Women do that tons all the time. They'll offer you free sex and you'll think that they're just giving you love, but they're not. They have ulterior motives. They want something from you. And they're trying to butter you up by, giving you that thing down there, that twat. But you have to read the subtleties. You have to know how to read women. You have to know how to be socially aware to know when to escalate. When is the right time? It's your job as men to build the anticipation, build the attraction in a woman in real time with them, so that you can end up inside them, right? That's the whole goal. Dating is a process of getting closer and closer and closer and closer to each other until eventually you're inside her, right? The process of seduction. It's this simple. You have to make them feel comfortable first. It starts with comfortability. If you don't make them feel comfortable, well, it doesn't matter what you do. They're not going to go any further with you than this. So you got to make them comfortable, and you do that by listening to them. Ask them questions about themselves. Hey, what do you do? What do you like? You have to get to know them and then repeat back to them what they're telling you so that they feel like you're listening and paying attention to them, and then ask them more stuff. Ask them questions. Be the leader, and then take it further. Then escalate. Go on, do some activity. Go do a fun, competitive activity: bowling, darts, billiards, axe throwing, whatever, cornhole, something you can be a little bit competitive towards each other, and you can kind of start teasing each other and giving each other a hard time and flirting a little bit more, and you know, poking fun at each other, because that's part of it, getting her emotional, seeing what she's attracted, seeing what makes her emotional, and then kind of teasing her and dialing that up a bit, because that's going to get her snatch down there wet. It's going to get her wet. I guarantee it. And she's going to be so, if you can if you can sit back the whole time and know you're doing these things as you're just sitting back chilling, like I'm just sitting back chilling, right? But like I could be, how I talk to women, I know turns them on and makes them feel things. That's what I'm saying, the art of seduction. And then again, you slowly just build that until where you can slowly start touching them, graze up against them, put your hand on the small of their back. When they start touching your arm and or hitting you, playfully or whatever it is, that's when you know it's definitely okay to start touching. If they start touching you and or move closer to you or brush up against you, even if they graze your arm or something like that, that's still sometimes it's an accident, but again, you have to read the situation. If she's doing it more than once, oh sorry, she's basically giving you an invitation that touching is okay and she wants you to touch her. But they're not going to come out and say it. I say this in other videos. Women are not overt communicators like men are. Women are covert communicators. Men, we're overt communicators. Men usually go, I like you, which is stupid. Men shouldn't do that. But women don't go, I like you. No, they do, hey, we should go out sometime. Or, hey, you want to go do this with me? Or you want to go do this with me? They're basically saying they like you, but they're not overtly going out and saying it. And so, yes, you have to be a mind reader in that sense. It's called social awareness, gentlemen. I mean, yes, we're not mind readers, but you still have to have some social awareness and understand these things. So anyways, hopefully that helped. It's definitely done me wonders over the years. Like I said, I know that if a woman's going out with me, I basically know that I have attracted her enough to the point where as long as I can not fuck it up and keep building this stuff, I know I got it in the bag. But not because I'm trying to, just because, again, I just know what I know, and that makes me more confident to where I don't even need to try because I just naturally do it. When you guys are still first learning this stuff, you are going to have to be consciously aware of it and purposefully do things, which is going to be a little bit unnatural. But then as you have success with it and you start seeing how it does work naturally and how women are responding to this stuff, then you're going to be able to sit back more and just have some more peace of mind and have to not worry about it because you're more confident in yourself that you know what you're doing, if that makes sense, which means women are going to respond to you even more and more easily. And so it's just going to build on itself for you. But, you got to take this, you got to understand this about that. It's an art. Absolutely. It's the art of seduction. And you can't be afraid to piss women off. I'm not saying to piss them off intentionally. I'm not saying to piss them off intentionally to hurt them or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's why women always say, just be yourself, right? You have to just be yourself in the fact of you don't care if in however you are yourself, you piss them off. Like when I go out, I'm unapologetically myself. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to go where I want. And I don't give a shit who it offends. I'm not intentionally mean or degrading to people, but I'm just not going to water myself down so that other women and other men feel comfortable. And the same thing with women. You can't do that with women or else they're going to know you're being disingenuous, and they can smell that from a mile away, just like sharks can smell blood in the water. So, you just have to be unapologetically yourself and not care about pissing them off. That's part of how you seduce them, is you make them feel something, right? And then you make them feel something else, and then you make feel something else, all within one short interaction with you. And that's what men don't understand, is a woman's loyalty all is based on this stuff right here. If you don't know how to do this stuff, your woman's going to cheat on you and leave you with a guy like me. because I know what is going on. I know how to make her feel things and make her feel good. I know how to communicate with her. I know how to make her thing down there wet like you don't know how to do. You see what I'm saying? And women want to feel that passion with the men that they're with, but here's the thing, they don't want their man being going along with his nature and giving love to a bunch of women. Like that's the whole manipulative part of it. We can talk about that in another video. Right now we're talking about seduction. So anyways, that's how women want a guy that knows what he's doing and how to get her hot and bothered and get her into bed. They want a guy that knows how to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, you're going to inevitably fail with any woman you're with. And it doesn't matter if you find a traditional good woman or not, and she agrees to monogamy with you, she's only going to be loyal to you if you make her feel these things. And if you stop making her feel these things, doesn't matter whether you have kids with her, doesn't matter if it's 40 years down the road, doesn't matter if it's 2 years down the road, if you stop making her feel these things, she's going to frickin' be gone, okay? And that doesn't mean she's a bad woman. That doesn't mean she's horrible people, and ladies, you got to understand that us men, our whole nature is to spread our seed. So you can't demonize us for wanting to do that, But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. We're talking about seduction and seducing women. So anyways, guys, I love every single one of you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. You guys be blessed. Let me know if y'all need anything. Let me know if y'all have any questions. Let me know if you hated it, if you didn't. No, that's fine. If you didn't, just move along. Nothing but love here on this channel for everybody. I want men to succeed. I want women to succeed too. But, women are playing a whole nother game. And, I got to specifically make videos for them because how we operate is two totally different things. But anyways, you guys be blessed. Everything is good, man. Your lack of success with women is your fault, man. I hate to say it, but it is. It's true, and I don't mean that to badmouth you or anything or make you feel less than. It's just we can't be better as men unless we're honest with ourselves, right? I had to be honest with myself and realize I didn't know what I thought I knew about women a long time ago, and then I set out to find this stuff, and I did, and now I know, and now it's just second nature to me, and it's easy, and I don't even try, and so that's where you all want to get to, where you're confident, where you know what's going on, to where you don't even think about it. It's just second nature because you know how nature works. This is all natural. This is just human evolutionary psychology and intersexual dynamics, right? That's all this is, and it's basically our mating dance, right? And it is a dance. It's a mating dance. It's the communication under the surface, under the communication that we're talking about up here with our words and all that stuff. So you got to learn it if you want to be good with women. And if you don't learn it, you're going to be bad with women. It is what it is. So anyways, like I said, y'all be blessed. I love you guys. Let me know if you need anything, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Cool. Peace.